Welcome to Red Leaf Retrocast, retroGaming, episode 122. I am JD. Colin, your theme pick today.
Yes, we're doing feel-good games. Because with things in the real world being as crazy and depressing as they are, it's time we try to inject some positivity into people's lives, even if only a little bit.
Well, my positivity is I will not be homeless at the end of this month. Hooray!
Oh, do tell.
Well, I got a house. I know for the past 3 months on various podcasts, I've just been kind of ticking down my days of homelessness to make it a morbid joke comment. Look, Colin, I was looking up Planet Fitness memberships and living out of my car. It was going to happen. What do you do in your free time? Well, I go work out, I take a shower, and then I go back to my car.
Well, congratulations.
Long time coming. The contracts are all signed up. I got all the bank shit basically done and rolled out. So now it's inspection next week. Then it's appraisal shortly after that. And then closing date, all within supposedly less than 30 days from now, which is more of an indication of how crazy the market is right now. But that's adult talk. That is crazy. But obviously, big basement, gonna make that big gaming room time, big bar room time, big man cave time.
Yeah.
But I think the funniest thing of the whole place is it's straight out of 1960. Everything's super groovy, shag carpet wall to wall. And when I say shag carpet wall to wall, the stairs even have shag carpets in them. The bathrooms have shag carpets in them. There's the main support beam in the basement that has shag carpet in there, which obviously means super cat scratching post. Obviously,
of course.
But yeah, I can't wait to put my cat in there for the first time, and he's freaking out. This is what I have pictured in my head. I'll put him down. He'll be super pissed for about a split second, and then he'll realize he took a bunch of acid for the first time. You know that feeling where you're just tiptoeing everywhere, and then your eyes get super dilated? Exactly like that. And eventually it'll kick in where he'll start rolling in it.
Well, I've never taken acid, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, you've seen some movies.
I have. But I don't think I've seen anything particularly drug trippy. No Train Spotting or Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But I really should.
There you go. You've seen the movies that matter.
I mean, I haven't seen those. I know of them. But I've only seen bits and pieces.
You should probably see Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I've been meaning to. Though I did watch Falling Down last night.
You
remember that one? It's Michael Douglas movie. Guy's stuck in a traffic jam during a heat wave. His AC's broken, and then after a while, he just cracks and then starts going across town, just beating the shit out of people who are assholes to him.
Actually,
it's a pretty cool movie.
That sounds some pretty feel-good stuff there. Yeah. No Joey on this podcast today. I know I mentioned house stuff for me. He has super uber important house stuff himself. So that's his. But he did give me some notes over the couple games. His theme pick is next. He's going to be picking that at the end of the day here. So that's where we stand with Joey. He spent a lot of money. Let's put it that way. He's been doing renovations on his house over the last couple of years, one step at a time. So I will be joining him in that future never-ending endeavor, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Cool beans.
I think the big gaming news, Colin, is the Stadia is officially kaput. It's done. Get it out of here. It's not just broken, it's shut down.
Imagine my surprise.
Oh, no one could ever see that coming. No way.
No way.
And Google's actually offering out refunds for this thing. That's how much of a disaster it was.
Yeah. Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
For the people who won't be able to have their games or take their games with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a disaster. Couldn't believe it. I mean, Stadia. I woke up in the morning. It's like, Stadia's closing down? What? Where's my Stadia? Oh, that's right. I didn't buy one.
Gee willikers. And what is this world coming to?
But in gaming, just kind of what we've been up to. Haven't played any Dragon Quest V. Kind of this whole buying a house thing really got in the way of important business, you know?
Yeah.
From the wrestling podcast side, super busy with that. Almost daily at that point with the project I set out and done, and I completed it over the weekend. So if you're listening to this and you're a wrestling fan, I reviewed every single Stardom 5-star event, threw it on the Patreon, patreon.com/redleafretrocast. Big self-plug here. Full attendance breakdowns, match reviews, match recommendations, the whole deal throughout the entire tournament. Pushes, non-pushes, the whole dang. Not to mention all the things I already do for the Patreon on top of that. So that's what I've been doing on that front. And if you're an anime fan, the new anime season has just started. We did an episode last week where we previewed our moving bar and previewed the season. So if you're an anime fan, listen to the anime podcast. We'll have the summer season reviews on the next coming episode, which will be next week. Now,
yeah, I just listened to your latest Bleach review.
Yes, we've been doing Bleach. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, especially with the Bleach anime coming back, and they're gonna finish up. Is the idea? I figured let's start from the beginning. Let's do it one arc at a time, and it's very manageable. We're 2 arcs in. It's about 41 episodes, and we're definitely gonna do a third one.
Cool. I look forward to it.
Now, video game wise, I have played some Triangle Strategy.
Awesome.
I did manage to get a couple hours in between the podcast games, and I was like, I got to play some Triangle Strategy. It's these. Look, I've said this over the last who knows how long at this point, but these style of games is like so my thing right now. With with the RPG-esque 2D pseudo 3D adventure games with this Square Enix Octopath Traveler style. Triangle Strategy's right there. The new game Diofield Chronicle came out. I've held off buying on that. I probably won't buy it this year. I'll wait and getting it. It's gotten mixed reviews, but I did play, and I did end up playing that demo, and the gameplay mechanics is what matters to me. Seems a little grindy, probably too much, but I kind of expect that out of these games at the same time, because they have that retro Super Nintendo-esque feel to it. These are just hits with me, and I can pick up and play anytime. I'm getting to some decent to above average storytelling with Triangle Strategy finally. You know, they're nice. very one note, kind of bland. They're not really it's your basic adventure of these kingdoms, story, kings, maybe some love in between. You know, none of these stories are very extravagant. You know, we're not talking Horizon Forbidden West over here, which, by the way, I still love. I tried playing that for about half an hour, and then it's like, oh, you have to go to the bank. I was like, oh, I don't wanna. There's a T-Rex robot thing in front of me, and it's... Okay, I'm dead. I guess I'll go. It whooped me. I was like, oh, oops. So...
Oh, good. You got your priorities straight.
Yeah, the house things. Now, back to the house things. You're going to love this plan. You ready for this, Colin?
Yes.
Anything non-breakable that I can move, because I'm moving like on a weekend, on a Friday. I'm going to take Friday off. Anything non-breakable. I'm talking like clothes, things that I'm comfortable kind of knocking around a little bit. You know, maybe a dent here or there is okay. I'm buying a bunch of trash bags, like the industrial black, thick garbage bags. And like all my clothes are just going to be thrown in there. Let's go, chuck them in the house, make the next trip. And then anything that I can't pick up by myself, which isn't much considering what I have, I will grab a couple friends. One has a big van, and we'll move that shit on a Saturday or Sunday before I'm out of this apartment. So, garbage bag time. Can't wait.
Nice.
How's that for a plan? Ever done something like that?
Kinda. I mean, when I moved from my folks' place to my new apartment last year, I had moved all of my stuff into like little big Rubbermaid containers. They're basically just like giant plastic
Yeah, they're big Tupperware things.
crates. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm going
And
even cheaper than that.
well, my mom has a whole whack load of them in her attic, so she let me borrow them.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just during the lead up to the move, I would just put all my stuff into those crates, and then one day at a time move two of them to a storage unit I was renting. And then on the day of the move, I just rent a U-Haul and head over to the storage unit, pile everything in at once, and then bring it all at once to the apartment. So that was because given the way my job was operating, it would have been way too stressful to just take everything from the house, put it into the U-Haul, and bring it that way.
Oh, sure.
It's better to just pack it ahead of time, have it in a storage unit, and then grab it then. So yeah, that's me. That's my little moving story.
What games have you been able to play that isn't the podcast games? Anything at all?
Well, some. I mean, these past couple work weeks have been absolutely brutal. I mean, it's been nothing but 13 to 14 hour shifts, sometimes longer. And that leaves me with less than 6 hours to sleep at night. And on top of that, I've been dealing with a bed bug problem. Basically, one of my apartment neighbors, one of my apartment neighbors moved out recently, and my landlord discovered bed bugs left behind.
But Colin, bed bugs only happen in crappy Motel 6s. What are you talking about?
Well, my landlord brought in an exterminator to deal with it, but at the same time had him check my bed with a black light to look for traces. He didn't find any, but not long after that, I started getting welts, and now a couple of weeks later, I look like I have shingles.
Well, oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
So I guess when they fumigated things, they migrated to you.
Possibly. Or the landlord tracked some in when he, or the exterminator tracked some in when he checked my bed.
Oh, that's possible as well. Yeah, some latched onto him, and then, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But thankfully, my landlord brought an exterminator in again to clear out my bed just on Friday. So hopefully that's the last of it.
Hopefully. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. But I've been playing a little bit here and there. And on the toilet, I've been playing Cyber Shadow and Blaster Master Zero.
Cyber Shadow. Great game, hard as shit. My God.
Yeah, I've only been playing bits and pieces, but that's all I need to do. Just go to the next checkpoint and then.
Yeah, not long enough to rage quit.
Nope.
I'm telling you, Colin, that last bit of the game is just, you might as well put it down. Like, don't even try.
Yeah. As for Blaster Master, I had actually found all 3 Zero games on sale on the Switch recently, and I quite enjoyed the original Blaster Master when we played it for the cast, even if you guys didn't. But I figured getting the remakes would be a fun time, so far I'm enjoying it just as much, if not more, improvements over the original. Got you have a map for one thing. That's already a huge improvement. And it's got some new weapons and abilities and some actual character dialogue. I mean, the characters are fairly generic anime-looking characters.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the main focus of the game.
As per the 90s.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah,
80s.
Having a map is already a big improvement. And Trying to think what else I played. I mean, well, I didn't play it, but the sequel to Freedom Planet came out on Steam recently.
Yeah, I had no idea. When did that come out?
I think it was like just a couple weeks ago.
Wow. I really liked the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. It's funny, the original one looked like something straight off of Sega Genesis.
Right,
This
and that
new
was the
one,
appeal. It looked like I remember when it came out, people called it the good Sonic game.
yeah. Yeah, it would have been cool if they had actually put it on like an actual Sega Genesis cartridge, like with Xenocrisis.
Did they not do that? I feel like they did. They had a limited release of things like that because a lot of these retro-esque inspired games do tend to release them on like NES or Super Nintendo or especially Genesis cartridges because they're pretty affordable to make.
Yeah. I don't know if they did. I haven't really looked into it. Perhaps I will after the cast.
Mm.
But Freedom Planet 2 looks like it came from Sega Saturn, so that's fairly appropriate. But yeah, once I get some time, I'll definitely download it and play it. So it looks like a lot of fun.
Speaking of Sega Saturn, I know this isn't it's relevant to the joke, but there is a pretty terrible anime out there called Uncle from Another World.
Okay.
Now I will say, I think the main character is pretty like ass. It's very unappealing. The story isn't all that great, but it does have good comedy every now and again. You ready for this?
Okay.
So the short version of the premise is Uncle goes into a coma, okay, in like 1990, I want to say like 7, okay?
Okay.
He's a huge Sega fan, and that's like a big joke with the guy. He wakes up in the out of the coma in 2022, and there's lots of funny quips where he's learning like today's technology and what YouTube comments are like, kind of things. Because he does, he missed out on his entire adulthood essentially, but he was essentially a teenager when Sega. So it was like one of the first things he asked is, "Did Sega win the console wars?" And they're like, no." Oh, what do they do it now? They don't make consoles anymore. And he's about to. They make the joke he's gonna jump off the balcony immediately. Like life's not worth living. That's funny. But throughout the show, like all of his intense life lessons and all of these things, he references old Sega Saturn games, particularly of like all these RPGs, and there's one where he buys this old magazine. It's like what won Game of the Year, and it's in Japan. It was this like point and click rom-com adventure thing, And he goes, they're very popular. I understand, and it's like one of those seething, about to explode moments. It should have been Burning Rangers. And he goes on this diatribe on why that should have won Game of the Year. It's in those senses that's when it made me laugh as a retro gaming fan. I was like, okay, these are funny, but the anime is not good. Not good. No.
Good to know.
Yeah, the Sega Saturn jokes were just cracking me up, like a lot throughout it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's everything I've been playing / observing.
Well, feel good games time then?
Let's do it.
All right. I got the drop ready just now. And for the Feel Good Games drop, that was the Donkey Kong Country theme. That makes me feel good. Really does.
All right. Yeah, I actually, yesterday, when I was out grocery shopping, picked up a used copy of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for my Switch.
Oh, I really like that game. I got it on the Wii U, though.
Ah, you scrub.
Actually, so before we get into this first game here, I am going to play a little bit of the theme from the first game, because I think the music is very interesting and very addictive for the game. So I'm just going to play this first YouTube video that just came up here. There it goes. Skip ahead. Yeah, it's very extravagant, like saxophones and trumpets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that song became something of a meme.
Skip ahead a little bit here.
Nikki feels so good.
Yeah, I totally hear it.
All right. Very wacky music for the first game. The first game, well, for so that was Katamari Damacy. I'll just let it fly right there. But so you explained why you came up with Feel Good Games, especially considering a lot of the topics we've picked lately are like post-world destruction.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've done enough dark and dreary games for the past 3 casts. It's time we got back to basics and actually had fun again.
Fallout, Bioshock, Beneath the Steel Sky, all these cyberpunk, dystopian, post-apocalyptic. Yeah, it's very, very funny. These this was definitely very much welcome when I started playing them. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. And prior to this cast, I have played both these games before. I have beat both these games before, so
nice.
The first one I played for about an hour, had a little fun on a couple levels, replayed them even once over, and then for the second one, my plan was I was only going to play like the intro and tutorial stuff, but Colin, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah,
I got 4 crystal stars.
Oh, nice!
I couldn't put it down, and I beat it pretty recently. A couple years ago, or less. Very fun, very fun. And yes, I do have it on the GameCube, and I put it in the Wii.
Yeah, I played it on my actual GameCube.
Yeah, I should have put it. I should have played it on my GameCube, but I don't know why I like playing the GameCube games on the Wii. I think it's because I have just both controllers kind of set up already, and
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like. There's something about the Wii I just really like.
Makes sense. So before we get into it, just want to ask, what games can you think of besides the podcast games that would qualify as feel-good games? Doesn't matter how retro.
I always like my old sports games. Always like those. Yeah. Very, very relaxing until I like put myself in a tournament. And then it gets very stressful very quick. But I remember Blades of Steel being very important to me. In college, it was like NBA 2K, I think 8. Where we would just go through, because that had like multiplayer franchise mode. So it'd be me and like 3 other friends just starting seasons upon seasons and drafting, and we made like deals that you can only play like certain games when you look at your calendar that matter. You're like, okay, so you have to pick and choose, and it would just last for weeks. So those were fun times. And then I would say, outside of kind of the middle Final Fantasies nowadays, like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 in particular, especially since we covered them on the podcast. Like, I tend to just kind of boot them up and play bits and pieces just to wind down. So I guess feel-good games kind of roll into wind-down games for me. What can I play that takes up very little time that I know I can just pick up and enjoy the music in it, enjoy the environment, and it's kind of along those lines. What I have been into very recently, of course, is the retro style RPGs like Triangle Strategy, Octopath Traveler. Those games are my feel good. I just feel real good playing them with them. I don't have to think very hard. They're not like super intensive, like reaction games.
Oh yeah,
I think that's pretty key to it. I don't have to try very hard while holding the controller.
yeah.
I could like lay in bed on my back, and it's just, especially the portable ones, because the Switch is very portable. I can just lay on my back, put it on my lap, and then after like 20 minutes or 2 hours, whatever, I can just turn it off and put it to the side and go to bed. Like, those are my feel good games these days.
Nice. Yeah, for me personally, games like Elite Beat Agents, which we covered on a fairly recent episode, that's definitely a feel-good game. I went into detail about that. Super Mario Sunshine, definitely feel good. Right. Brings forward a lot of fantasies of visiting tropical islands and such. A Hat in Time, definitely. That's a very cheerful, very colorful game, though it can get legit scary at points. Undertale's good. I think a lot of people would agree on that. Gravity Rush. That one really took me by surprise. And Professor Layton. It's got the whole Miyazaki aesthetic going. That definitely warms the cockles of my heart. And I wasn't going to mention it before, but since Joey's not here, fuck it. Kingdom Hearts.
Boo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all of the games just leave me feeling better after I've played them.
On the wrestling podcast, I just made fun of a wrestler who is a big Kingdom Hearts fan. He comes out with like a Keyblade shit.
Ah. That's funny.
I was like, how am I supposed to cheer this guy?
Of course.
I can't help but boo. Anyways. Let's get into the first game.
All right. First game is Katamari Damashi for the PlayStation 2. Developed and published by Namco, released on the PS2 in Japan on March 18th, 2004, and in North America on September 21st, 2004. And later on, it would be remastered on PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And for anyone wondering, the title literally translates to clump spirit.
Oh, I never looked it up. I guess that makes sense.
I just saw it at random on the Wikipedia page. And the plot is pretty quirky. The king of the cosmos, with his giant cylinder head, out of nowhere, ends up breaking all of the stars in the night sky. You know, typical Tuesday.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And his son, the prince, that is the player character, is tasked with creating new stars by rolling up random objects into balls like a snowball and bringing them to the king. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The gameplay involves rolling a ball around, catching small enough objects onto it that will clump together, and it gets bigger and bigger, and the bigger it gets, the higher your score. And that's pretty much it. You're just using the two joysticks to move around.
Yeah. It's well, you can kind of toggle flip them real quick to make your ball go faster. It's a game heavily emphasized on, I guess, making a satire of Japanese culture, especially wacky art styles. Very stylized.
Yeah. And that intro. How can you not smile at that intro? With all the bright colors and the catchy as hell theme song. I feel like everyone listening has heard that song somewhere on the internet.
Sure. And there's a lot more of these games that came out that I wasn't even aware of. Like, there's Me and My Katamari on the PSP. That seems super interesting. How would that work? Because it's 2 analog sticks, right? How would it work on the PSP?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, that's only $7, so I might actually pick that up. There's let's see. I know there's a Vita game, but I don't think it came out in the U.S. It did. Touch My Katamari. A little bit more expensive, $30. So if you're
that means something.
well, but if you're into portable, like I still really like my PSP. I do pick it up from time to time. Much more than my Vita, although the Vita, I am always looking for things to add, and I think because the Katamari games, they don't need to be anything different than what it already is,
Yeah.
Because
it's good as is.
Yeah, because it's very relaxing. It's I like this. It says, let's see. It says it is a puzzle. It says it's a puzzle game. Puzzle action is what it categorizes as. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure which which that qualifies under, but I guess when
really.
you look at it, it's like, what would it qualify under?
Yeah, it's very hard to categorize into one genre.
But my funny story is revolving Katamari Damacy is how I got this game originally.
Okay.
So it was me and my buddy from college. We were both working for the same company, living in Lafayette, Louisiana. Okay. Went to a used video game store, and they had this big pile of just like PS2, Xbox 360, whatever, just discs just lying there. And they go, for 10 cents, you can have whatever game. And then, so I just got a bunch of change out of my car.
Uh-huh.
And I just started picking a bunch of games that look like they could work. Because to them, they were so scratched that they either wouldn't work or they couldn't sell it. So I got like Hitman 2, Silent Assassin. I got some sports games that I, wanted to check out. And Katamari Damacy was one of them for 10 cents. Works perfectly fine to this day. So does Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. So I don't know whether the laser is strong enough in my PS2 still or what have you, but I think I got like 12 games that day and like 10 of them worked.
Nice.
So that was great. And we ended up playing Katamari Damacy from start to finish in one sitting. And this was my probably third time going through the game in the last 10 years. Holds up incredibly well. It's very relaxing. It's trippy. It's fun. You can literally pick up probably any game in the series because, again, like I said earlier, they don't have to change anything. The concept's already there. You know what you're getting for your X amount of levels. And then after so much period of time, it's essentially, okay, what console do I have? Because I'm looking at the list. I mean, yes, they're all PlayStation, but now Nintendo Switch, just boot it up and you're good to go. It's very relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah, I had kind of the opposite experience of you. I actually had a bunch of trouble trying to play this one on my PS2 because it just plain refused to read the disc, which was weird because I still had the game in the shrink wrap. It was still brand new, and my PS2 couldn't read it. So
maybe it's a laser thing.
Could be. Maybe time for a new one.
Because I have a Dreamcast game, Super Magnetic Neo, where not a scratch on it. It's clearly like hardly been used, but the Dreamcast just can't read it. It's the only one.
That sucks.
Yeah, they say there's no such thing as disc rot. I'm very much disputing that claim. Because something happens over time.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is exactly, but maybe it's not technically rot, but there is some sort of deterioration that goes down in either the hardware or the discs, or a combination of both.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I actually tried cleaning the inside of my PS2. I mean, I thought maybe it was just full of dust or something.
Fat one or slim one?
Slim.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually opened it up. Black.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I attempted last week, just opened it up. Didn't really do anything. I mean, there wasn't any dust inside to speak of. I tried swabbing the laser lens with a Q-tip and greased some of the machinery with some multi-purpose grease and then put it back together, but that didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, it's very tough when you start like opening things up and you're wondering like what exactly is wrong with them. You know, it's a bummer because I have 2 Dreamcasts I've kind of mixed and molded over the years to try to get like the best working one. Might be time to get a third one, but the Dreamcast just is made pretty poor in general. So
that sucks.
like it's the only console I have that I've ever had any issues with is the Dreamcast. But it has the most flexibility at the same time because I can make my own discs for it essentially and play all these games. So like, it's like, what am I really complaining about here kind of deal. But
yeah.
Joey does have some brief notes. It's not a lot, but he was kind enough to give some notes this morning. Katamari Damacy, PS2. Intro is some drug-induced dream. Educational diagrams are the best. I agree.
Uh-huh.
Cutscenes are weird and the king is a jerk. Oh, very agree. King is a jerk.
Uh-huh.
Fun game around a basic concept. He passes it, and I will spoil it. He gave it a B.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him. Yeah. Look at that. Mr. Positive over there.
Yeah.
Over in the Houston.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I was expecting a lot of dark jokes this cast.
I mean,
Just
he's got his opinions over the second
things around. Yeah, we'll see. We'll get to that.
My point over Katamari Damacy is it's relaxing. There isn't it's very intuitive for anyone to play, which is quite rare in this day and age. I think it's a game on any console that holds up pretty well. I imagine they're all kind of the same score, unless they start getting kind of wacky with concepts. And this is coming from someone who hasn't played anything other than this first game.
Yeah.
So once I gotta mark this down because I gotta make new lists over kind of what games I want to buy and search for. Because I these last couple casts have really got me thinking about what I want to play to completion, and then just what do I want to try and get more feelings like this in my life, and Katamari is kind of on there. So I would be very curious about the PSP and Vita games of Katamari and see how those work out. Obviously, won't be covering it on the podcast and the theme. Well, wait, when did the PSP version come out? Me and My Katamari. I don't think it's old enough yet. Oh, 2005. It certainly is, Colin.
Look at that.
There you go. Yeah, the PSP is that old now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It keeps hitting me that now some games on the Wii and now PSP are very much eligible to be retro, according to us in our 15-year or older rule.
Yeah.
So Katamari Damacy, it's like a 6-7 hour game, depending.
Yeah, about that.
You can get it on the PS2 in your variety of regions for about $10. You can get the Katamari Reroll on the Switch for $12. I'm sure there's a sale at some point going on.
I had to pay $40.
40? Nah, come on. I'm looking at some eBay things right here, and they're it's $12.
Man.
Yeah. So in Canada, that would be what, 15, 16?
Yeah, I don't know why it was so expensive.
Probably got it just straight new, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But even then, I think
did the
new they're only
download.
going for 20 now. I think new is only 20 now. Yeah.
And it wasn't when I bought it.
All right. Yeah, I passed Katamari. I really do. And I want to play more.
Definite pass. All right. And we can get into the second one, which is a lot longer.
Oh, yeah.
It
4
is
crystal stars I got. 4. I think there's only 7. I think there's 7.
Yeah.
So I played halfway, I think is the technical Reach
Well,
point.
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. But that's how much I played. I was very addicted to it.
Nice. It is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door for GameCube. Developed by Intelligent Systems and published by Nintendo. Released on Nintendo GameCube in Japan on July 22nd, 2004. In the UK on October 4th, 2004. In North America on October 11th, 2004. In the EU on November 12th, 2004. And in Australia on November 18th, 2004. Very spread out release. Now, I've never played a Paper Mario game, so this was definitely an interesting experience.
Never. Okay, so I played this in response to the Game Grumps playing it years ago.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of listening to their playthrough at work.
It's fantastic. Drive. I love that playthrough that they have. They played the whole thing. It took a long time, but they did beat it.
Yeah.
I played it in response to that. And then I bought, and beat Paper Mario the Origami King.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What I haven't played was like Sticker Star on the DS, Color Splash. I believe that was on the 3DS. Those didn't quite get rave reviews by any means. But from what I can tell, like Paper Mario on the 64, Paper Mario on the Wii, all got critical reviews. They sell very well. Thousand Year Door is regarded as the cream of the crop. But if the Origami King, I really like that game. I do recommend it. I spoke very highly of it. It's very simple to play. It has a unique battle system, which is something I think a lot of these Paper Mario games excel at, is their unique battle system mechanics.
Yeah.
Thousand Year Door is right there. So this was, again, a pleasant surprise to pick up again, and it's amazing how much I forgot just in a couple year span over, because there's just such an extensive amount of dialogue, and that's where I think the game truly excels.
Yeah, I mean, even Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation had a lot of good things to say about it. Yeah, the game's plot is as follows. Princess Peach is on vacation and gets a treasure map from a street vendor for the crystal stars, which can be used to unlock the Thousand-Year Door, which leads to an ancient city beneath the starting town, which supposedly has a bunch of treasure.
Supposedly.
Yeah, and she then sends the map to Mario through the mail to invite him to join her on finding the stars, and by extension, the treasure.
Little adventure, just the two of them, eh?
Yeah. Assuming Toadsworth's not hanging off of her every second of the day. That's her, old toadstool attendant. Who also appeared in Mario Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a bunch of Mario Sunshine references in here. You actually see a bunch of the the people from Isle Delfino in the town. And right off the bat, the game is bursting with personality. It's so many people like making dark jokes about the Mario universe that I feel like the gaming community as a whole has kind of forgotten how to let the childlike imagination just wash over them.
Well, excuse you, Colin. There's a frickin' noose in the opening area, just hanging out there in the town square.
Yeah, that kind of undercuts my point.
Not only that, there's a mafia group that runs the arcade business.
Yeah.
threatening people with cement slippers and the like.
Yeah. But the rest of the time, it's quite a colorful, upbeat game. I mean, we mentioned the battle system. It's really good. It's most moves require active participation from the player, whether it's hitting the A button right before your attack lands for double damage, or holding the joystick left during a hammer swing and letting go at the right time to increase damage. It reminds me a lot of Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, exactly. That's a fellow now rare podcast host Kevin over on his Twitch streams. He plays a lot of pretty good games. Go check out his Console Kev Twitch. Shout out to him. Yeah. He loves Legend of Dragoon. You can probably find like 4 playthroughs he's done through that game alone. But it's the best part. Well, a best part is how interactive this game makes you play, and that's too often turn-based strategies are just click through a menu, click the button, and you're done. And while that's okay, and I obviously, I mean, I play a lot of games that are like that. This one's much more interactive with how you interact in battle. Hell, there's an audience that grows or decreases with how well you're doing, and sometimes they'll throw good things, sometimes they'll like throw tomato, the equivalent of a tomato your way, and you have to go down and whack them to get rid of that. There's even a move to appeal to the crowd, which gives you, I guess it's like flower points. No, star points, I think. I
think it is flower points.
Well, flower points is like moves. The magic system, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's like star points that you appeal or gather over battles, and that'll give you a super special move.
Oh, yeah. You have like 1 or 2 of those after a while to like, got like the sweet treat move, or you can do like a little mini game to launch stuff at falling items. Like they'll give you extra health or flower points, but you gotta watch out for the poison mushrooms because that'll freeze you for a certain amount of time. Then you'll miss a bunch of stuff.
So instead of like an enemy system with magic defense or anything like that, what it is, it's essentially the anatomy of the enemies throughout the game that you kind of have to work around. So it's simple things. Oh, this enemy has spikes on their head, so you can't jump on them.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to hit the hammer.
And that'll flip them.
And some are flying, so you can't hammer them. You got to jump on them.
Right, so there's a lot of aspects like that. Now, sometimes I will admit it gets a little frustrating because you don't have necessary items or materials or even the amount of points left to do those moves, so then you're just kind of stuck in battle. So that requires you to go back, rest up. There's a lot of running around in the game to make sure you don't get caught in moments like that.
Yeah.
That's a aspect of RPGs that are pretty obnoxious across the board, so Paper Mario is no exception. You just really have to look out for things like that, and because this is, well, at this point, it's an older RPG. You could possibly get a save point, and you've locked yourself into an area that you can't get out of.
Yeah. I found the pacing in this game to be really good. It's another example of an RPG that just rolls. It's like not once in the first few hours did I feel like I was just grinding.
Well, I think the tutorial's pretty long at the start.
Yeah, but I think that's more on the dialogue from the characters than anything else.
Yeah, it's a lot of dialogue setup for sure. So I could see that kind of waning on people. It's like, all right, let's go. I want to get in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and the 2D-3D art style was kind of reminding me of something for a while, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then I realized it reminded me of Danganronpa. I mean, what with all the, whenever you enter a building, all the walls and doors fall away as you enter, and then build back up when you leave.
I guess
Danganronpa did.
I guess it is paper-like, yeah.
It's like on Danganronpa's part, that had to be a deliberate reference to Paper Mario. But yeah, I mean, I love how quirky the game gets. Like one mini boss, which is like a big thwomp, has you thinking you'll be fighting him, but instead you play a trivia game show. That had me chuckling a bit. And of course, there's one toad kid. in one town who's constantly referencing other Nintendo games like Fire Emblem and Game Boy Advance. It's like, did you see the newest Paper Mario? You had to collect like 7 mushrooms and blah, blah, blah. All that meta humor.
Yeah, the humor is a next level type writing style with this. It's just simple dialogue choices even. Just oh, I'm sorry that we treated you that way. Mario, how does this make you feel? Like one of the options is you hurt my feelings a little bit. And then the others don't worry about it. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
Now, and the game isn't above a little bit of dirty humor either, because at one point,
that was very surprising.
Yeah, at one point you're playing as Peach after she's been kidnapped, and then she goes into the washroom and takes a shower behind the curtain, and then she goes to talk to the villain's supercomputer, and apparently it was watching her and fell in love with her after doing so.
Yeah, a computer is now sentient in the game. Yeah, it's funny. That doesn't come till much later, surprisingly enough.
Really? It was because when I played, it was like after getting the first crystal star. That's when you play as the.
Well, no, the
Peach.
whole section of like playing as Peach. Like there's a whole giant area. It's like near the end. With the X-Nauts. Like there's a lot of setup with the computer, and you're doing mundane tasks. The actual like battles don't come till much later.
Yeah. I didn't get that far. Been a busy man, but but this is actually shaping up to be one of those rare podcast games where I actually want to keep playing afterward. The only other two I can think of are Tokitori and Beautiful Joe.
Yeah. Well, I've played a little bit more of Siberia, for example, stemming from the last podcast. Think I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got. I want to do other things. It's just a little too slow. I did beat Beneath the Steel Sky though, from the last cast.
Nice.
I didn't end up beating that because I only had like an hour left.
Yeah, and I know you guys continued with Half-Life and Bioshock.
Oh yeah, I didn't ask Joey if he. You know what? I'll message him right now. Did you beat? Let's go. Did you beat Bioshock?
I know you beat Half-Life, but I'm not sure about Bioshock.
There we go. Message him. See if he gets back to me. But you know what? I should read Joey's thoughts over Thousand Year Door here. Intro and tutorial feel a little too long. He likes the artwork. Scene transitions are nice. Not a fan of turn-based combat, so yeah, okay. It's not. He's not into those. He likes the more like Baldur's Gate action combat deals.
Yeah.
Takes too long to get started. Not a fan of the game mechanics. So interactive. The thing I was praising the game for, he doesn't like. He says it's not his cup of tea. He fails it because it's not his kind of game. But he gives it a C. So it's not like it's a harsh fail or anything.
Okay.
That's fine. He can feel that way.
Mr. Sad Black Pill.
Yeah, right.
Doomer.
Well, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is like a 40-hour game. It's an investment.
Yeah. But I'd say it's a worthy investment.
Yeah.
We should mention the some of the platforming mechanics because hey, it's still a Mario game.
It is still a little bit of a Mario game. Go for it.
And occasionally you get little abilities to traverse the environment more effectively. They're supposed to be quote unquote curses, but one of the first you get is once you stand on a certain platform, you can fold into a paper airplane and fly across the gap to the other side. And another one lets you like turn like sideways so that all you see is like they look like a piece of paper moving back and forth with it horizontal away from the camera as opposed to the way it normally goes, which lets you either slip through prison bars or fall down a sewer grate to a secret area. Stuff like that. When it really takes advantage of the way everything's set up, that's really fun.
Well, a major aspect about the game is, so it's split into 7 chapters, and per chapter, it takes you to a whole new environment, part of the world, which in turn you get a new storyline and a new partner that joins your party. And that partner has special abilities that you can also use in the real world, whether it's the Koopa Troopa that can turn into a shell, and you utilize his ability to solve puzzles with kicking a shell, hitting buttons. You have the Ghost Girl that can blow and make whirlwinds to rip paper away to reveal secret areas. And they also have their unique aspects of battle, but you can only have one with you at a time. And you can switch them out accordingly to help you try to solve how to beat certain enemies. And usually the person you're with is the best way to defeat enemies in that particular chapter. It's like if you want to grind, that's kind of... And the later you get into the game, sometimes you'll come across old enemies again that you need to bust out the old partner. So that's a real cool aspect of the game as well. The part I also like is, because the chapters feel so unique to one another, that's what keeps the game flowing. And it's not your typical ice, grass, fire areas. It's this one is super unique to only this universe you're in. And you get your variety of degrees of Mario characters across the land. It's super fun. So the first area is very basic, get you going. Then the second area is, let's see, the second area is like a castle kind of setup, I think. Or is that the first one?
Yeah.
No, whatever. Then you get a place called the Punies, where you're in this kind of great big tree area, and there's some puzzles you get with the lot of them. They're like little firefly bugs kind of deals.
Uh-huh.
Then you go into the Glitz Pit, which is a blimp sky town, and a lot of big wrestling feel. Hell yeah, Colin. Rock Hawk. You're going to feel the rock.
Nice.
Yeah, I was watching the Game Grumps play, and I fucking love that area that they play through with the voices and the Grubba voice that Aaron comes up with. Oh, Grubba! Oh, Grubba! Yeah, like that.
I want to play Call of Duty Shoot 'em, man.
I want to play Call of Duty Shoot 'em, man. You think you can handle this? It's great. It's good. It's good. After that, then it's I believe that's when you get to the spooky town. Got a Halloween feel. There's some twisted turns there. Get new characters. It keeps you on your toes, and you kind of don't know what to expect with each new area. So I stopped playing when I just got to the tropical island, which is where you get the Babam character, which is an old ship captain deal. Pretty cool. I really enjoy this game quite a lot. Again, the only major complaint I have is the fact that the game does make you run back a lot, and there's really no way to kind of speed that up. Just kind of a shame, because that okay, before I get into these areas, I have to go all the way back to the tropical island, get this little item, and then I have to go all the way to this item.
Yeah, there should have been a fast travel system. You cut out.
That's okay. Yeah. There's no fast travel system in the game, and that's a huge negative, I feel.
Yeah. But aside from that, this game's fantastic. Easy pass.
Easy pass. So Joey says no, he did not beat Bioshock, but he played a lot of God of War, which he mentioned in the last cast, and he's playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, awesome.
Hell yeah. All right.
Look forward to hearing what he says.
Easy pass. My favorite game, Colin, was Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door.
Oh yeah,
it's like a 40-hour game. It goes. It's not cheap. It's still a $60 game, even on like eBay.
Yeah. That's
And
about what I played for it way back when.
yeah, no, it still goes for like a brand new game. I know there's ways you can possibly get it a little cheaper, like just the disc kind of situation. But I'm curious now about the Wii game because I've never played Super Paper Mario, and that's apparently the best-selling one ever out of this whole series. I don't know if
I'll check it out too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly the best rated. Let me check this out. It's got looks like it got like 8.8 out of 10 kind of situation across the board. And then for Thousand Year Door, this one got 9 out of 10, so a little bit better. Okay.
Nice.
So not too far off. Because I personally, I never really hear people talk about Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, Yahtzee briefly mentioned it during Thousand Year Door review, but I haven't really heard that much about it either.
Okay, so Joey went B and C. What about you, Colin? Favorite and tiers?
Well, favorites, obviously, Paper Mario.
Okay.
Katamari gets a B, and Paper Mario kind of torn between an A and an S. And
Don't be a coward.
I'll give it an S.
Yeah, there we go. Katamari also B, so we get B's across the board there. For Paper Mario, Colin, I'm kind of torn. Do I dare go S?
I don't know. Do you? I mean, we've had a lot of S's already, but
well, Bioshock was our last like full S across the board. I think
before that was Half-Life.
Half-Life, yeah. I think. Okay, so
be positive.
Hear me out.
Put some positivity in the world.
Were there RPGs with extensive fast travel systems back in the early 2000s?
That's hard to say. I mean, I know, well, this isn't early 2000s, but Dragon Quest V had a fast travel. I think, no, Final Fantasy IX was like late 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Trying to think what other RPGs I have.
Yeah, it really makes you think. So just because we can't really think of that, I can't really knock the game at that time period for not having a fast travel system, because that's where my biggest critique is. How long it took to go back and forth, and you had to go to different areas, and the loading times, like a lot of wasted motion in between. So since that wasn't common at the time, I'm going S.
Awesome.
So that'll make Paper Mario to an A anyways, because of
Hooray.
Joey's not for him feelings. Ugh. All right. So yeah, Joey's pick is next. He's going to get back to me on that. Colin.
Okay.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yep. See you then. Bye now.